Hello and welcome to Beaumont Hospital. My name is Janet and I'm part of the Major Incident Planning team here in Beaumont Hospital, and I want to inform you that we have two plans in the hospital. The first plan covers major emergencies or mass casualty events, and the second plan covers internal incidences. Both of these plans are found on QPulse and Quick Links on the Beaumont Hospital intranet site. In addition to that, each area has a folder, and in the folder it contains action cards specific to that area. Just a little bit about internal incidences first. These are some examples, and one of the most common internal incident is fire. We've been lucky enough that we haven't had a fire in the last 2 years. In fact, the last one we had was put out by an NCHD coming off duty from theatre, where one of the lights in the main corridor went on fire. But these are some situations, and we have had them all. So we're talking about a serious internal incident that you will probably need help in dealing with. So what do you do if you're in Beaumont or on Beaumont Hospital campus and you come across an internal incident? You do need to report it, and the number you phone is 2999. So this is for fire or any serious internal incident in the hospital or on the campus. If you are working in St. Joseph's in Raheny or the RCNU, the number you ring is different, and you need to have a look at that number when you go there to work. So this is just for Beaumont and the campus. So this number 2999 is a dedicated number in our switch room. And what switch will need is the location and the type of incident, because they will send the rapid response team to you to help you deal with the situation. The rapid response team consists of security, porters, and the incident manager. During the day, the incident manager is one of the directorate nurse managers, and at night is the site manager. This team is available 24/7. So please, if you come across any internal incident, don't be afraid to dial 2999 and report it. The incident manager equally can communicate with Switch if you need the fire brigade or other services like technical services or An Garda Síochána. Moving on to major emergencies or mass casualty events, the framework for major emergency management, this is how they define a major emergency. And this usually happens with little or no warning, threatens or causes death or serious injury, and it may affect infrastructure. We have cut it down to this definition, which means that the hospital, particularly the emergency department, will be overwhelmed without the need and will need extra resources to deal with the mass casualty event. We're not talking about a day-to-day very busy emergency department, which they all are. We are talking about generally an external mass casualty event for a major emergency. So who calls a major emergency for the hospital, or how do we know that the hospital should activate our major emergency plan? Generally speaking, and hopefully the National Ambulance Service, NAS, will contact ED and advise that an emergency is taking place or an incident is taking place. The nurse in charge of ED will verify this and will contact the ED consultant on call. And together they will decide if it is a major emergency for Beaumont Hospital and if our plan needs to be activated. They can also consult senior executive on call, the CEO, and the site manager or the incident manager on duty. Having said that, the first indication of a major emergency or something unfolding externally may be the presentation of a patient from that incident. This is what happened in the Manchester bombings, where the first casualty arrived by car, the second one was in a police car. So that may be your first indication. The CEO can also declare a major emergency for the hospital, and the ambulance service or the National Ambulance Service is the only service that can really initiate a hospital response to an external event. As I say, we have folders containing action cards for these events. And how do you know that there is an event? Well, social media, I suppose, is a good start also. But from a hospital point of view, our plan, we have a communication cascade, which is a walking communication cascade, and that covers all inpatient areas, including the doctor's res. There's also calls to specific phones within the hospital. So if you're on duty, the communication cascade is really how you would know about it. If you are not on duty, you could be on the automated call-out system. We have about 800 staff on that, and that is a call to your mobile phone. So we may need your mobile phone number to put you on that system if required. If you are called in from home, please bring your staff identification with you, as only staff who work in Beaumont Hospital will be allowed in a major emergency or mass casualty event. So where do you report to? As I say, if you can bring your ID card, please do. You report to the ED login area, and this is outside the tea room in ED. Some NCHDs will go to their own place of work. We also have lead doctors in certain areas, particularly in the emergency department. We have lead anaesthetists, intensivists, surgeons and physicians. These are usually consultants, but they could be SPRs or senior registrars. The coordination centre will have a medical coordinator and discharge physician. And if you are part of the medical on-call team, you will be taking care of the patients who are already in ED and cannot be sent home or haven't been admitted yet. So medical on-call team, care of patients in ED. Surgeons will be allocated to ED, theatre and AB Cleary. So there's action cards for doctors, for consultants and for NCHDs, or some for NCHDs, but you may be asked to step up to roles because it is a collapsible hierarchy. So whoever is most senior will take charge initially. We have lead action cards in ED and lead physicians, surgeons, etc. And in the coordination centre, we have lead medical and discharge physicians. Additionally, we have action cards covering global communicable diseases, CBRN and hazmat emergencies, and an influx of patients with a communicable disease. So there are additional action cards within the plan. So you could have a look at them also. One of the most important things, or one of the first things that will be done in a mass casualty event will be the clearance of the emergency department. And this is where patients would go. Those who can be sent home will be sent home. There are pre-ordered taxis for that. Those who are admitted will be sent to medical wards. Those who are unassessed, partially assessed, who are unable to be sent home will be sent to what we call the pink area. At the moment, the pink area is in Finbar's day ward, and that's where the medical on-call team will be taking over the care of these patients. Our critical care patients hopefully will go to ICU. If not, they will remain in the emergency department and be cared for there. There's going to be a reconfiguration of the hospital in a major emergency or mass casualty event. ED will be reconfigured with triage taking place at the ambulance entrance. Triage is very different in a major emergency than our everyday Manchester triage system. The area itself will be zoned into red, yellow and green areas, and you really do need to familiarise yourself with ED in order to be prepared for such an event. Hopefully it will never happen, but if it does, it's best to be prepared. As I say, the whole hospital will be slightly reconfigured or reassigned. The boardroom will become the hospital coordination centre. The Director of Nurses Office, the Nurse Coordination Centre and so on. The Centre of Education will house relatives. The media will be in dialysis therapy. For doctors, where you come in, you are going to the ED login area. If you are not required in the ED login area or in specific areas, you may wait in the hepatology unit for redeployment. Obviously, you will probably have your own WhatsApp group, so to keep in communication with each other to see what is needed and link in with your own teams also. Points to consider in a mass casualty event or major emergency are the discharge of patients to create extra capacity. The patients should be discharged in the usual way, and that they see their doctor, they get their prescription or whatever else is needed. But we can remove them from the ward once this has taken place, and they can wait in the rehabilitation centre, and they can wait collection there from a relative or however they're going to get home via taxi or as I say, a relative collecting them. Obviously, the continued care for inpatients, that needs to continue as well. If you were called in from home, because we have over 800 people on the automated call-out list, be prepared to be sent home, even if you do come in, because subsequent shifts need to be covered, and obviously the continued care for inpatients. Another point to consider is please do not talk to the press in such an event, or don't put anything up on social media, on any social media platform. We have people who will talk to the press and represent the hospital in that way. And each area would assess whatever supplies are needed. We do training, MIP training. We run major emergency simulation exercises, and with that, the whole hospital is represented. And so each area can see how it would play out in a simulated environment. We also run tabletop exercises down in the emergency department. They run mostly every Monday from 8 to 9. They're an hour long. Thank you for your time, and please look at the plans to see your responsibility in an internal incident or major emergency for Beaumont Hospital. Thank you.